It is 11 o'clock. The day is 19 September 1960. 60 members of the Legislative Council, commonly known as the Legico, are descending into the first parliament from the current State Hall, which acted as their first chambers. The first white speaker, Sir John Griffin, led the team into the chamber of 80 members capacity. Notable among the members were the late former President Dr. Milton Obote and the head of the Democratic Party, Dr. Ben Kiwanuka.
We never shed blood with the British. We used logic. We used arguments.
The first Legislative Council, however, dates back to 1945, when the first Africans, Michael Kawalya Kagwa, Petero Nyangabyachi, and Yekonia Zirabamuzale, joined the Legislative Council. It was a white man's business and a few Asians.
Oh, you are a pioneer.
I didn't go to Parliament then, but there were two women who were elected from Buganda, Florence Rubega and Shugura Viziram. She was Asian.
Joyce Mpanga was among the first black Ugandan native women MPs between 1959 and 1960.
Really. Of course women have made an impact. Of course they have made an impact. I'm here. I'm here. When we first got independence, I don't think anybody expected that a woman would be a speaker of this institution.
On the 9th October 1962, the colonialists gave way for an independent nation, Uganda, with Sir Edward Mutesa becoming the first president and Dr. Milton Obote as executive prime minister.
At midnight tonight, Uganda shall become independent. We are of Uganda, and Uganda is ours.
But 4 years later, Obote overthrew Sir Edward Mutesa in the famous raid on Mengo Palace.
Although you are doing very well, there are certain things which I would like to leave with you as somebody who's leaving this world for another world very soon. The idea of holding a referendum was my own proposal. And I have already said Dr. Obote should not be blamed for it. I'm the one who proposed the holding of referendum to settle the Los Counties issue.
Mutesa was forced into exile, and in 1967, a pigeonhole or a Republican constitution was promulgated. Patero Narendra, of an Asian origin, became the second speaker in the first parliament of 1963 to 71.
Oh, you are... This won't do. Get up, man. No, get up. I don't know, we are getting so bloody old. We can't recognize each other.
When Obote's government was overthrown through a military coup by General Idi Amin Dada,
Fire!
Parliament was suspended until 1979 to 80, when the National Liberation Front appointed Yusuf Lule as the interim president for 68 days and was replaced by Godfrey Kongwa Binaisa in June 1979. Professor Edward Lugumayo acted as Speaker of the Third Parliament and Chairman of the National Consultative Council.
But we still had two distinct groups, UPC and DP.
The 1980 elections returned Dr. Milton Obote in what was considered as rigged elections against Dr. Paul Kawanga Semogerere. The first parliament with 126 members was constituted, chaired by Francis Butagira from 1980 to 85.
If I were to be remembered as speaker, I would want to be remembered as speaker who did try to build institutions and who tried to enhance the role of parliament, to protect minorities in parliament.
Butagira recalls the curiosity of his president, then Dr. Milton Obote, in matters of legislation.
I've never seen a person who was so keen on parliamentary procedures like him.
During these past years since liberation, a long, steep, and difficult terrain.
In 1985 to 1986, a military government led by Tito Okello overthrew Obote, and shortly after, the NRA led by President Yoweri Museveni took over power and formed the National Resistance Council.
I think the signs were there. To be frank with you, I was dissatisfied. I went to President Obote and told him, I said, I think your government is going.
Since then, numbers have exploded beyond the chamber's capacity. 50 years later, there are now new plans to construct new chambers that will accommodate 500 members.
That our parliament is too big, is unwieldy, and because it's too big, the quality of speeches are lower than ours.
You really pity when you look at some of these MPs.
When we came to parliament, we regard it as a part-time job.